Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. My name is Jeremy. One of the most heartbreaking things a man can ever witness is watching another man make love to your wife. It's a kind of image that doesn't just break your heart, it crushes your soul. And the worst part? It wasn't just any man. It was my best friend. And my wife let it happen right in our bedroom. They never expected what came next. Here is how everything happened. I first met Alicia, the woman who would become my wife, about 3.5 years ago. It wasn't one of those chance meetings you sometimes hear about. No, this was carefully arranged by my mom. She's always had a knack for planning things, and this time, she invited Alicia over while I was visiting. Honestly, at first, I had no clue it was a setup. We just started talking, like two people getting to know each other casually. But after a few conversations, I figured the timing was too perfect. My mom had planted Alicia there, hoping I'd notice her. When I finally realized what was going on, I laughed out loud. I mean, you have to admire the effort, right? Even knowing that, I decided to go with it. We exchanged numbers and kept in touch after that day. Now I work as a consultant at McKinsey, which means I'm constantly traveling for work. I'm talking about weeks away from home, hopping from one city to another. Because of this, my past relationships never really went anywhere. It's tough to build anything solid when you're gone so much. But with Alicia, it felt different. Talking to her made me think maybe it was time to stop running around and find someone to come home to, someone waiting for me when I got back. When I told her about my job, how demanding it was, how often I traveled, she smiled and said, "Your mom already told me all about that." That cracked me up even more. My mom had really done her homework. But I wasn't mad or anything. It was kind of comforting to know that Alicia understood what she was signing up for from the start. So yeah, we hit it off pretty quickly. And that's how it all started. Alicia and I started spending more time together whenever I wasn't tied up with work. Whenever I was home, I made sure to be with her. And when I was away, we didn't just go quiet. We talked, texted, kept each other updated on our days, shared little things. After a few casual hangouts, things naturally grew into something more serious. We started dating officially, going out on proper dates, meeting each other's families, and just learning about one another. My mom was over the moon about it. She had set this whole thing up, so seeing it actually work was a big deal for her. I could tell she was proud and happy. We kept dating for about a year, and during that time, I realized I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. So, I decided to marry Alicia. I trusted her because our families were connected in a way that made me believe she wouldn't do anything to mess it all up. Alicia knew my job was demanding, but I promised her that soon I would cut down on the traveling. Right now, though, I need to work hard, travel a lot, and secure our future. She understood. Whenever I did come back home, I tried my best to make it up to her. I bought her gifts, took her to nice restaurants. I let her shop for whatever she wanted. Sometimes, when I was nearby, I'd overhear her on the phone with her friends, bragging about how spoiled she was and how much I gave her. For those first 3 years, everything felt perfect. After our third wedding anniversary, things changed in ways I didn't expect. I was really proud to have been chosen to lead this new client onboarding at work. It was a big deal for me professionally. But what it meant was more travel and longer hours than usual. I remember feeling torn because I knew Alicia and I hadn't been spending enough time together. But the project demanded my full attention. So I thought I could make up for it by showering her with gifts and money, buying her things she liked, taking care of all the little extras she wanted. I told myself that this was just temporary, and that soon I'd be home more. After a week on the road, I finally got back, and this time I promised myself I would be present. I was determined to spend every free moment with Alicia, hoping that would fix the distance that had quietly crept between us. At first, it seemed okay, but after about 2 weeks, I started to notice a change in her. She wasn't the same when I was around. She seemed bored, like I was more of a distraction than someone she wanted to be with. Then, one evening, while we were having a small argument, she looked at me and said, half joking, half serious, "When are you traveling again? I kind of miss being alone." Back then, I laughed it off. I told myself she was just joking, that maybe the quiet moments when I was gone gave her some space she enjoyed. But now, looking back, I see that wasn't just a joke. That was a crack in what I thought was a strong foundation. One night, I was tired from hours staring at my laptop in the home office. My head felt heavy, and every muscle in my back ached. I finally stood up, stretched, and walked down the short hallway to our bedroom. The door was slightly ajar, and I could see Alicia lying on her side, fast asleep. The room was dark except for the soft glow of her phone screen. It was face up on the bed, the light still on, as if she'd been texting just a moment before. At first, I thought I'd simply lock her phone and set it on the nightstand so she wouldn't be disturbed. I bent over, reached for the phone, and that's when I saw something. A thumbnail of an image in the chat caught my eye. Curiosity, mixed with a little worry, made me tap it open. My heart sank the moment the picture filled the screen. There they were, Alicia and my best friend, sitting on our very own bed. Alicia was lying against his chest, her hair fanned out across the pillow. He was grinning into the camera like it was the happiest moment of his life. Below, it was his message, "I can't wait to have you in my arms." Reading those words felt like a cold wave crashing over me. The place I thought was safe, my home, suddenly felt violated. I couldn't stop myself. I had to know more. I kept scrolling through the chats and saw more damning images. I discovered that she was also sending photos to him. She sent a mirror selfie to my friend earlier that day. I decided to go to her phone's gallery, and what I found next was even worse. There were videos of them together, being intimate on our bed, right there in our bedroom. They recorded themselves making out in my bedroom. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a violation of everything I had trusted, everything I had built with her. I was angry, hurt, and confused. I wanted to grab her, but I stopped myself. I knew if I lost control, it would only give her an advantage if things ever went to court. So, instead, I stayed calm. I copied every photo and video onto my own phone. When I finished, I wiped the screen clean and set the phone back where it was. Then I went to bed, waiting for the sun to rise and knowing nothing would ever be the same again. I stayed up late that night, my mind racing with everything I'd seen. I wasn't sure how I finally fell asleep, but when I woke up the next morning, Alicia was already in the kitchen, making coffee just like any other day. I joined her, trying to keep my voice steady and casual as I asked, "So, what do you usually do when I'm traveling?" She listed a few things: watching shows, meeting friends, running errands. It all sounded normal, but inside, I was holding back so much pain, so much anger that I didn't know how to handle it. Then, I looked her straight in the eyes and asked, "Does that include sleeping with my best friend?" She froze and didn't say anything right away. For a moment, there was silence, and then she snapped, "What do you mean by that?" The defensiveness was immediate, like I had accused her of something impossible. I took a breath and said, "Unlock your phone." Her eyes narrowed. "Why do you want to see my phone?" she asked, her voice cold. I repeated my request calmly, but she refused. "You have no right to tell me what to do," she said firmly, shaking her head. I nodded slowly and said, "All right then." Without a word, I pulled out my phone and opened the folder where I'd saved the photos and videos of her and my best friend, right there on our bed. I held it out to her and said, "Then explain these." She just stared at the screen, silent. Not a word of denial, no apologies. Instead, she asked where I had gotten the pictures from, like that was the most important thing. I couldn't believe the audacity. No shame, no regret, just trying to control the damage. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady even though my heart was breaking. "I'm leaving," I told her. "But if I come back in a few days and you're still in this house, I swear those photos and videos will go viral." The moment I said it, I saw her break. Tears started streaming down her face, and she began murmuring things I couldn't understand. I didn't wait to listen or try to comfort her. I just got ready quietly and left for work, leaving everything behind. After I left the house that morning, the weight of everything pressed on me like a heavy fog. I couldn't stay there a moment longer. The first thing I did was call my lawyer. I wanted to make sure I had my next steps planned out carefully. When I told him what I had found, he listened quietly before explaining something I hadn't fully thought about. Because we lived in North Carolina, he said I could actually sue my wife's lover for adultery under something called the Alienation of Affection Law. It sounded complicated, but basically, it meant I could hold him legally responsible for coming between my marriage. I had the proof, and that gave me some kind of power back. I told my lawyer to go ahead and start the process. I needed to take a stand. Not long after, Alicia reached out. She wanted to avoid making this public, so she agreed to all my terms for the divorce. I wasn't interested in dragging things out with her. I just wanted to end it cleanly. But there was one thing I made clear. I was not letting her lover walk away without facing the consequences. Even when she begged me to drop the lawsuit against him, I couldn't. Her pleas fell on deaf ears. That man had destroyed my trust, my marriage, and a part of me I didn't think could ever heal. I was done pretending everything could be fixed with words or tears. This was real, and I was going to see it through to the end. That night, when I first saw those photos and videos, something inside me just broke. It wasn't just that my wife was cheating on me. I felt like I lost two people at once. The two people I trusted most in the world, gone. What hurt even more was the thought of how long they had been doing this behind my back. How long had they been sneaking around, using my own home, my own bed, for something so wrong? My bedroom used to be my safe place, the one place where I could relax and be myself without worry. Now thinking about it, that place felt violated, dirty even. It was like the walls themselves held the memory of what happened, and that made it even harder to breathe in that room. Later, when my mother found out what happened, I could see the pain in her eyes, but instead of anger, she blamed herself. She said she only wanted to help me, wanted me to have someone to come home to after all those long trips and late nights. She thought she was doing the right thing by introducing me to Alicia, thinking they'd make a good match because of their family connections. But when the truth came out, she felt like she had failed me. She kept saying things like, "I'm sorry, Jeremy. I thought she was the one for you." It hurt to hear her say that, because I knew she meant it. She didn't want to hurt me, but she felt like she had handed me over to a woman who couldn't stay faithful, not even for 4 years. It made everything feel heavier, like this wasn't just my heartbreak, but a wound shared with my family. The people who cared about me had their own pain because of what Alicia did, and that made the whole situation feel even lonelier. Before I wrap up, I want to take a moment to share some important lessons from what happened to me. First, trust is everything in a relationship. You have to be able to trust the person you're with fully, but you also have to be careful about who you trust. Blind trust can hurt you badly if the other person doesn't deserve it. It's not about being suspicious all the time, but about paying attention and being honest with yourself. Second, love is powerful, but sometimes it blinds you. When you love someone deeply, you want to believe the best about them, even when things don't add up. You might ignore signs that something isn't right just because you want to keep the peace or avoid conflict. But ignoring those red flags doesn't make the problems disappear. It only makes the pain worse when the truth finally comes out. Lastly, always listen to your gut feelings. If something feels off, don't push it aside or make excuses. Your instincts are there for a reason. I wish I had paid more attention to mine earlier. Maybe things would have been different. So please, if you're ever in a situation where something doesn't feel right, don't ignore it. Now, I want to hear from you. If you were in my shoes and found out the truth like I did, what would you do? Would you stay and try to fix things, or would you walk away like I did? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to know. Thank you all for watching.